Hello everyone, Trollforce here, and today we're going to delve into a long-forgotten event that I have been interested in since the early days of this channel. I briefly talked about it in my Amnesia Justine Explain video, but today we're going to discuss it in full detail. The Potato Sack ARG, an event organized by Valve Software with the collaboration of 13 indie developers to promote the release of their widely popular puzzle game, Portal 2. Frictional Games were one of the developers chosen to take part in this event, and we will be covering the events as they happen in today's video. Take note that missing and incomplete information will be contained in this investigation because most of the footage and media has been archived, and all videos on YouTube that have recorded this ARG at the time have been deleted, so I will work with what I've gathered. So let's not waste any more time and dive into the investigation of the Frictional Games Forgotten ARG. Let's turn back the clock to April 1st, 2011, at the start of the ARG, and the anticipation for the release of Portal 2 that will debut 18 days later. Valve gets in touch with 13 indie developers to participate in an obscure ARG called the Potato Sack. Each game will be updated periodically with clues and hints to the three phases of the ARG. As such, our first phase begins here. Amnesia Justine is not only a well-established addition to the Amnesia franchise, but is also the few remaining available sources of the ARG's existence. Amnesia Justine in itself is a large tribute to the first Portal game. Many references to it are with how the game starts in a chamber with a phonograph waking you up, plus following a voice through each and every chamber, using different methods to self-test, and said voice trying to kill you at the end of the game, as well as sharing a release date just a week before Portal 2's launch. Another reference that is direct in this approach is a secret message that you will find in the library that unlocks a secret ending that references the song Still Alive that plays at the end of Portal. Everything that I have listed is what we already know about Amnesia Justine, but there's far more underneath the surface that we're going to dissect. Let's begin.
It's been a long time. How have you been? I think we can put our differences behind us. For science, you monster.
To start, let's continue the investigation to the next day of the ARG. Frictional Games released an update to Amnesia Dark Descent in the form of chalk letters that were spread throughout Castle Brandenburg, as well as hieroglyphics hidden in the game files. This was the first clue of Phase 1 of the ARG. The rest of the update's contents for Phase 1 are as follows. A phonograph that will spawn in low sanity and study, only playing static for the first version. A Swedish greeting in the old archives level, which is still in the game to this day. A single sentence written in chalk on the altar in the chancel. And lastly, a new folder in the game labeled P-Test, which we all know today is the install location for the Justine DLC. Using a Wayback Machine, we can discover archived forum posts from the old Frictional Games forum site before the whole network got reset a couple years back. Thankfully, most pages on this thread have been saved, and it's a really interesting read that gives us an insight for what the participants in the ARG had in store. The community quickly got engaged and began decoding glyphs and messages found in the game. We will deviate at certain points in the video to go through the forum posts of the ARG events. One of the glyphs led the community to the game The Wonderful End of the World, where the next piece of the puzzle was located, and the weird sentence found in the chancel turned out to be a cipher. A little while later, Frictional Games made a blog post of the image, which was the next clue. This image also originated from Unbirth, a previously unfinished title by Frictional. Furthermore, an account by the name of Harold E. Larson PR started to post on the forums. Those quick enough discovered the capitalized letters spelled out HELP, and it was connected with the red letters of the first image. By April 5th of the ARG, a glyph was found that looks like the icon from Amnesia. While the members of the Frictional Games forums are picking up the trail left behind by the elusive Harold E. Larson, we now move on to Phase 2 of the ARG. Phase 2 began on April 7, 2011, only 12 days left until Portal 2 launches. All of the games in the Potato Sack are updated again. The updates added to Amnesia were to include a still image of Peabody showed on the wall in the main menu of the game, but the potatoes on the ground were removed. The phonograph in the study added a recording of a girl talking to Daniel. This was theorized to be Hazel, Daniel's sister, but was later revealed to be Elise Zimmerman, the daughter of the farmer that Daniel killed in the storage. A 4-page note titled Unexpected Omens was added into the local history room of the archives. A long blue text found under the stairs, presumably the entrance hall or old archives. And, at the tail end, 4 new RAR files to be unlocked, secured with passwords to be pieced together. The first password lies hidden in the phonograph recording. Let's take a listen.
Daniel, you killed me. You took my life away. If only you realize what you've done, what violence you've forced upon history. You have to make it right, stubborn old boy. I am offering you redemption. I need you to give me the answers. Rid yourself of guilt. Tell me exactly. The man who escaped death in Grenoble. Who is he? Who is hunting you? And who is the banished one? You laughed when I told you I would call on Gabriel to help. You know him. Where did you meet him? You are prison. Your mind is questioning my existence. My request is sincere, Daniel. This is all real. Where did you leave your sister? Daniel, you are going mad. Go home. Call on her. What's her name? And let her bring you home to England. Listen, if there is any will in you left, answer my question and let them make a name for yourself.
The key to piecing the password together is at the first letters of the answers to the questions. The man who escaped death in the Grenoble is Agrippa. We all know this from the note that we found on the same level. Agrippa escaped the shadow after attaining the orb. The next answer is the shadow, as is hunting Daniel. Alexander is the banished one. Daniel met Gabriel in Bremen, as he was the one who escorted him to Brandenburg. Daniel left his sister in Canterbury before setting off to Algeria, and her name is Hazel. The final clue to the password. When we rearrange the letters, we are given Caspa. Then, players will proceed to create a new profile in Amnesia with the same name, and just as the profile is created, a new window would pop up as the Aperture Science login screen. The password to access it was Troubled Memories, and the password is found in Defense Grid. After putting in the password, a file will be downloaded called Key Potion Ingredient. Renaming the file to keypotioningredient.rar reveals it to be a password-protected archive. The password being Damascus Rose, a key potion ingredient in the Amnesia potion. Now we look into the blue text that was added. It turned out to be a clue for the password for RAR files that were added, and it reads,
Transcription of today's stuff so far. Sorry for the traffic. Attention, file the following under random arbitrary ramblings. Inscriptions of the Nile where the unspeakable eldritch horror hide. A simple man, a hideous toad, and hairy bat. Dweller of the sky, mother and sea. Give your eye and bowl, mass far below, creator of life. Fibonacci digger, at graveyard and gallery. Temptation's tongue fell off at whole plateau of the octoleg. The weights are in equilibrium, the gate. Feather walker gaze at meal, unstoppable and shapeless. Dual hooks and beams. Many forms seek followers. 2 more remain in plain sight. Okay. Remember, a certain permutation can form something encapsulating all, but it is not the answer. The numerical order, where hidden trumps shown, must be used. Do not gaze at the face, it is not of here, but should reside elsewhere. Okay. And here's like 4 pages of the omen. It's complete gibberish, but moving on from that and the blog post.
These clues were found out to be referencing the hieroglyphs from Phase 1, and that had been scrawled on various places throughout the game, as well as gods from the Cthulhu mythos, with the left side of each clue referencing the former, and the right side of each clue referencing the latter. Furthermore, the numbers in each clue was pointing to 1 or 2 letters and the names of each deity. The numbers could be rearranged to spell out the phrase Cthulhu Mythos. However, this was not the password for the RAR files. The letters had to be arranged in the order of the hieroglyphs that they were paired in the game, to spell out which turned out to be the password to their first RAR file. Now we dive into the final parts of the ARG with the RAR files and what this all means and how it's put together. The first RAR file contained two images, one of a head within a device and tiny letters scattered all over the picture, and the other one a block of text with set numbers beneath it. The hidden letters in the first image could be arranged to spell the phrase, Daniel's victim. The numbers at the bottom of the block of text could be used in pairs as coordinates to find certain letters within the text. Putting all these letters together spelled the phrase, cruel love, the password for the second RAR file. The unexpected omen note was found in a local history room at the archives, and it contained long and random sets of letters like this. After some time, the community deciphered the text through methods of frequency analysis and a substitution cipher. After the translation, this is what we got from it.
The potion certainly is a capricious tool to work with. Anyone who consumes it will suffer from memory loss, but to what degree is difficult to predict. Lately, I have become skilled at matching the body of the prisoner with the amount of rose oil. However, there are still prisoners who it takes me by surprise. Emmanuel, the poacher, roused from his unconscious rambling. Deliver the cube, musty deliverer. Come weigh your bells. His words meant nothing to me. The prisoners rarely tried to address me in English. Everyone knew I spoke their language quite well. I grabbed him and hushed in a manic rant. Emmanuel calmed down and looked at me with his frightened eyes. He spoke. The mission must ravel where light north arc begins. As his voice resonated within me, it felt important, maybe even prophetic. I asked him what I could do to help, if there was an answer to his riddle. He cried and said, "Come weigh your bells." The jumble of texts I've caught the eyes of many turned out to be broken English, and when rearranged further turned out to be with "Deliver the cube, must he deliver" becomes "Deliver the cube, must deliver." "Come weigh your bells" becomes "Conveyor belts." "The machine must ravel where light north arc begins" becomes "The machine must travel where light nor dark begins."
The clues were used to decode a puzzle in the game Rush, with conveyor belts being used as a password for the game's login. That's about all the evidence I gathered for the Amnesia's part in this ARG, but to finalize our data, let's go over the order of events that transpired so we can conclude this investigation. April 1st, 2011. The Potato Sack ARG officially launches, and 13 indie games were updated as per the first of 3 phases of the ARG. Frictional Games makes a post on their forums to kickstart their collaboration with it. Unfortunately, this post was deleted and wasn't archived, so I couldn't find the original anywhere. The main menu of Amnesia Dark Descent is changed with potato peels in place of the Amnesia mixture liquid. Hidden chalk letters and hieroglyphs were sprinkled through the game. The phonograph was added to the study. The hidden hello sign was added to the old archives, which still remains to this day. Weird sentences pop up in the chancel, as well as in the game files. Lastly, a new folder was discovered in the files of Amnesia, labeled P-Test, which we know today as the root folder for the Justine DLC. The P-Test namesake could mean Potato Test. April 2nd, 2011. The very next day, hieroglyphs were discovered in Amnesia Dark Descent. The community forums get right to work investigating these anomalies. Further, Harold A. Larson makes his presence known in the forums. April 3rd, 2011. The Frictional Games community is hard at work making sense of these ciphers and glyphs they found.
They have caught on to me, and will try to silence me. Will try to escape. Hold. Okay. I don't care anymore if these sadistic bastards got me burning with lasers and all after last heard to type with fingers off, but have to trying. Missed before went up. I tried to sneak, but screw that now. I just dumped all I could find on the servers. Ha ha ha. This will screw them up. I also in Thomas ho ho. Ho ho. Someone oak. And heading this wood. There are sure to be material that can hurt them a lot. Help me find. Might be hidden. Bastards will pay. Go to go.
From April 4th to April 7th. The forums aren't archived, but details from another source suggest more activity from our old friend Harold.
Hard to post anymore, since the bastards washing my hand stumps, though. Pretty nifty, right? I digress. Need to be quick. Poked around in the cellar and found more notes. I hope they can be of help. Quote, beneath stairs, the key to a rare tome can be found. Paired with ancient symbols, letters lurk inside names of my favorite nightmare magician's dreams. Omen, placed as gift for god of tumbling perfect shapes. It is of no use in our realm, but very much so in its. The murderer's victim spoke of riddles, the answers forming a greater whole. It could perhaps unlock boiling layers inside forgotten memories? No idea what it means, but perhaps you will? I have no more time. They're on to me, and the bear trap around my ankle is slowing me down.
April 5th, 2011. 2 nucleus are found, and one of them looks like the eye from Amnesia. April 7th, 2011. Phase 1 ends, and Phase 2 begins. All games are updated again. The potatoes are removed from the main menu of Amnesia Dark Descent, and Peabody takes center stage on the menu. The phonograph in the study has the static audio replaced with Elisa Zimmerman talking to Daniel. The Unexpected Omens notes is added to the local history room of the archives. Long blue text under the stairs were added, 4 new RAR files with the password protection, and lastly, a long and complicated process to access the Aperture login screen. The community forums are flooded with information and get right back to work.
Just ahead right now. Spiderleg's not working good. Longer story to tell later. Anyway, back. Just missed first person I could. Cannot post forum. FG, we'll see. Now, I have some info. The bastards are laughing in basement, and I overheard few things. Ears still growing, so hearing. Again, long story. Here goes. Alt I brift. Tfam Mingar. Dunno what means, but might use be. Later.
April 8th, 2011. 10 of the 13 games Aperture login screens have been accessed, leaving only Amnesia, Defense Grid, and Rush to be the final contenders. As a result, another update dropped to Amnesia just moments before the community cracked the Unexpected Omens clue. More posts were made by Harold.
Tear painful and hard to see. Having wings growing out my eyes. Vice lobster claws, not king typing easier. Sorry if hard to read. Doing best I can. Please. To try to not pay much attention. To lettern, I'm unsure. Tit are currently doing some ritual row, so can't hear anything. I do remember rare and dear sorry, bad hurrying with rat legs in ears. All feel to pain now, must endure few hours. Hope was some help.
April 9, 2011. Very late at night, the omen is finally cracked. Defense Grid got the Aperture screen the day before, but thanks to the Omen's clue being solved, it led to Rush getting the Aperture screen as well. The blue text cipher is also solved by the community, giving them access to the RAR files to the next set of clues hidden within. Over the course of the day, the images for the RAR files are being unlocked one by one.
Pain, sharp, and didn't crock things near but tva miningar seemed imprompant.
April 10th, 2011. Amnesia's fourth password is found cracking the file puzzle in the RAR files. On the same day, at long last, Amnesia's Aperture Science login screen has been accessed, thanks to the phonograph puzzle being solved, and all 13 games all have the pieces of the puzzle in the shape of real-life locations in Seattle. April 11th, 2011. Not too much happens this day, except that we are greeted by another post by Harold.
Those fools. When they found out about the leaked information. Thanks to you cracking it. They started running around like idiots, not knowing what to do. The Croco Cats was all confused by this, and I managed to lure them into an acid pit. As you can see, I am all good now, and finally healed all my wounds. It was a bit funny, walking around with spider legs sticking out your throat, eating with rat hands from my nose, but I am slowly getting used to it. You may wonder how I cheated death. Well, let me tell you. The bastards at FG thought I was done for and threw me into a corner to bleed to death. However, I struggled and managed to tip over some essential salts on a shelf. I got all kinds of strange stuff over me, and while it messed me up a bit, as you might have noticed, it managed to save me, or at least my head, and awakened me. And I also got strange voices in my head, but nice, with some company. As you might notice, I do no longer have to worry about those morons at FG, now that they are all in panic, running around with creatures from the beyond released. After having healed, I used this chaos to snoop around a bit, and you cannot guess what I found! It is going to take a bit time to get it all processed, but this is really going to piss them off. Stay tuned. P.S. You should already have some teasers in Rare Secrets.
April 12th, 2011. All Potato Sack games are updated once more. Amnesia Justine was launched just a week before Portal 2. A new login page and prerequisites are added. If you do a 100% run of Amnesia Justine, you are treated with a 100% video run walkthrough from I Bring Doom, which sadly isn't on YouTube anymore. A text walkthrough, a guide to get rid of the monster, and finally an audio file found by 100%ing the DLC points to another location in Seattle. April 13th, 2011. Amnesia gets updated again, this time with a note from AS Inc., Boston, Massachusetts, which can still be found to this day. April 14th, 2011. All Aperture Science login screens and audio keys are discovered. April 15th, 2011. The final countdown to Portal 2's launch begins. April 15th, 2011. The final countdown to Portal 2's launch begins. April 18th, 2011. The calculations for the games conclude this day. The final entries are as follows. Audio Surf at 12:40 p.m., The Ball at 1:34 p.m., Super Meat Boy at 8:17 p.m., Killing Floor at 8:25 p.m., Defense Grid at 9:25 p.m., and finally, Amnesia The Dark Descent at 9:26 p.m. After all the results are tallied, Portal 2 releases at 9:28 p.m., 8 hours ahead of schedule. A week later, on April 27, 2011, Frictional Games released a post on their blog about their role in the ARG and everything that has transpired with them, which is still on their blog website today. You all may not have known it back then, but Amnesia Dark Descent not only took part of a pivotal part of Portal 2's launch, which is one of my favorite games of all time, and millions of others share that sentiment, but also the fact that Amnesia Dark Descent was the key element that made Portal 2 release earlier than scheduled. Frictional had a successful launch of Justine the week before, and Valve made history once again with their groundbreaking entry in the catalog of Portal 2. Even though I was a young boy during this whole event, I would give so much just to have a chance to be a part of history like that. Frictional never had an event like this happen again. Sure, we had some online showings like the So Much Transmission series that helps promote the game, as well as some live video footage of Amnesia Rebirth. Yeah, those did have similar goals like how Valve did, but nowhere near the scope and size of the Potato Sack ARG. This event lives on in the people who took part of it, and in many other ways, I don't see that many people talk about it, and many other members of the Amnesia community don't even know that it happened, or the impact Justine had on the community that time. So I hope this video gave you all a new perspective on one of the greatest horror games of our generation. With that being said, our investigation on the Potato Sack ARG has reached its end. Yes, there was missing information and discrepancies, but I had to weed through tons of information coming from many different sources, as you all saw in the video, so this took a lot of careful and precious time to make, and put together for all of you. It's probably the most in-depth analysis video I've ever made, and probably will ever make, so I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed making it. And I hope you all got something out of this viewing experience. And until next time, my name is Trollforce, and I'm a potato.